Andrew Montford is the director of Net Zero Watch. Good morning, Andrew. What do you think will happen to the country's energy policies if Miliband wins?
Well, I suppose it's quite scary, but I mean we are already in an incredibly bad place. We are expecting prices to rise a great deal already over the next 5 years. So it's hard to imagine what Ed Miliband can do that is actually going to make it any worse than that. I mean, he already seems to have pretty much a free hand on energy policy to do what he wants. He's going ahead with renewables, even though it's going to put electricity prices up. He's shutting down the North Sea, which is just madness. So what else is he going to do? I hate to think, but it may be that it's bad enough already.
He'll go. I mean, if he becomes prime minister, he'll go further. He sees this as his political legacy, doesn't he?
Well, his political legacy then will be the collapse of the UK economy. And that will be chaos. I mean, we can't sort of hide away from the hard truths here. The policies will lead to very high prices. They will probably lead to the lights going out. They will lead to the closure of manufacturing industry. They will lead to the closure of the hospitality industry. So, if that's what he wants his political legacy to be, well, he's a madman. And, I'm not the first person to say this, but Ed Miliband does seem to be, sort of one step short of barking, really. He is quite crazy. And, the country needs to understand this. We are not doing energy policy in a rational way. It is completely irrational, and it's very, very dangerous.
And
People will die.
And many of the labour unions also don't support net zero. They're not happy either, especially in manufacturing.
No, absolutely. I mean, we hear that the Unite Union in particular is extremely unhappy with what Labour's doing. I mean, their members in the North Sea oil and gas industry must be absolutely raging, and quite rightly so. And there has been talk that they will disaffiliate from the Labour Party, quite correctly. I mean, I think if they've got any sense, they will actually affiliate to the Reform Party, who's are probably their best bet for saving some part of the North Sea. I mean, whether that can happen, if Labour can hold on till 2029, it's hard to imagine that there's going to be a lot of the North Sea and many other industries left. I mean, they will just die. We really need change very quickly.
And just to reiterate that word die, just earlier I interrupted you. You said that you think that these net zero policies will cause people to die. How so?
Yes. So we are looking at blackouts. We do look as if we're going to run out of firm electricity generation capacity by sort of 28, 29. Nobody is interested in building new gas-fired power stations in the UK because they don't make any money, because they don't get to run very often. If the lights go out, as the Spanish found in the spring, people die because people have medical devices that need electricity to function. Okay, their lights were out for less than a day. Once you get past a day, you're in serious trouble, and that's what we're looking at. And the government just doesn't care. They're carrying on with the net zero madness and not addressing the real risk to human life.
And briefly, Andrew, with the clock against us, something I mentioned to Claire Coutinho, Shadow Minister for this area of energy policy as well as equalities. And we were both saying that the issue you got with net zero as well is that this is a national security issue.
Yeah, absolutely. In a world where we are looking as if we may be heading for sort of conflict, to be deindustrializing is the height of insanity. We have very little manufacturing industry left relevant to defence. Our steel industry is almost gone. So to be carrying on with these policies essentially is to essentially run up the white flag.
Crumbs. Powerful words. Andrew, lovely to have you on the show. Look forward to speaking soon. Andrew Montford is the director of Net Zero Watch.